The country left to deal with a recent influx of Haitian migrants. Police investigate 3 homicides over the weekend, and the competent authorities set to be redesigned. Good evening, everyone. I'm Leah Cooper with your Jcn News for this Monday, January 27th. Minister of Labor and Immigration Keith Bell addressing the recent influx of Haitian migrants in country, labeling it as a crisis. Here's Laurencia Smith with more.
Haiti is facing political unrest following the assassination of its president at the start of the summer and a number of natural disasters, including a 7.2 magnitude earthquake. Haitian nationals are risking their lives to leave that island, close to 1,000 of them being apprehended in Bahamian waters in less than a week. Those migrants are in custody and set to be repatriated in the coming days. Minister of Labor and Immigration Keith Bell sharing this much with the media during a press conference on Monday addressing the recent influx of illegal immigrants from Haiti.
There's a total of 501 migrants now in Inagua, and there's 415, and the numbers may change. That is on Flamingo Key. And that's a total of 916 migrants that we have in custody. They are being kept, and that adds to the number, ladies and gentlemen, at our detention center. There is, I think, just over 100 or so there now.
Minister Bell also telling reporters that Chief Magistrate Joanne Ferguson Pratt and a team are currently holding court in Inagua. The 501 migrants will be arraigned today for entering the Bahamas illegally.
The next stage is that we get deportation orders. I'm in place to execute those deportation orders to ensure that we repatriate. Once we get that done, the next stage is to communicate with the Haitian government to say, these are the orders, these are persons we prepared. They respond to us almost instantaneously. So what we are doing simultaneously is while we're doing that process, we're now making arrangements with, we've reached out to our US counterpart. We are now communicating with and dialoguing with Bahamas Air. We're dialoguing with the Defense Force and its vessels to ensure that we coordinate efforts so that there is no hiccup along the way.
Asked if there is any truth to social media reports that authorities were asking residents on Inagua and churches to open their doors to house the illegal immigrants, the minister addressed those reports.
And you've seen on social media, you've seen the photos, that there were 350, in excess of 350 migrants under a tent in the police station. We had to ensure that we didn't spark an international incident. And even apart from that, as a Christian nation, we had an obligation to ensure that these people are properly housed, they're properly fed, they eat, and they have proper bathroom facilities. And so we were under an obligation to find a place immediately. And so we had to go into the community. We had to ask the Anglican Church, we had to ask the non-denominational churches, we had to look at the school. And at the end of the day, the Universal Declaration Church came to our aid.
With more than 20,000 confirmed cases of COVID-19 in country, Minister Bell says there is no concern at this time as it relates to COVID and other diseases. He further notes that based on information immigration authorities can confirm that no migrant has died in the recent influx. I'm Laurencia Smith for Jcn News.
Meantime, Royal Bahamas Defense Force Marines are carrying out a mass exercise to extract some 400 Haitian migrants from an uninhabited key in the Ragged Island chain. Royal Bahamas Defense Force officials in a statement say Royal Bahamas Defense Force Operations Department was informed by a local fisherman shortly after 11 a.m. Sunday, September 26, that a suspected Haitian vessel was seen partially submerged off Flamingo Key. A group of individuals was also sighted on Flamingo and Water Keys, Ragged Island. Officials from Operation Bahamas Turks and Caicos, or OPBAT, also were informed and proceeded to the area and confirmed the sighting. Defense Force assets, along with police, Marines, and immigration officials, were also alerted and were dispatched to the area and are already on the scene, while Her Majesty's Bahamian ships Lawrence Major and Lignum Vitae are en route to Flamingo Key and adjacent keys to extract this latest group of migrants. This comes as another group of Haitian migrants were apprehended on Saturday, September 25th, during a joint effort by the Royal Bahamas Defense Force and the U.S. Coast Guard. A Haitian sloop with 145 Haitian migrants on board was spotted in the Ragged Island chain by the USCG cutter Yerwood Saturday morning. HMBS Durward Knowles, under the command of Lieutenant Commander Samantha Hart, was was dispatched to investigate and assist. The Haitian vessel was apprehended 26 miles northwest of Key Lobos. The vessel was taken into Matthewtown, and the migrants were handed over to immigration officials for processing. Now, earlier in the day, RBDF Maritime Unit assigned to Matthewtown intercepted a Haitian sloop and a 1.5 miles northwest of the island. Further investigations uncovered 50 migrants, that's 41 males and 9 females on board. The sloop was brought into Matthewtown and the migrants handed over to immigration officials for processing. The Royal Bahamas Defense Force has maintained vigilant watch with patrol vessels, which have been deployed to the southeast Bahamas to strengthen the force's posture against the migrant surge. Those public servants promoted during the last few weeks of the minister-led administration will have to wait a bit longer before those promotions are approved. Minister of Foreign Affairs and Public Service Fred Mitchell says the government has halted all promotions approved pending cabinet review of the same. The minister was responding to questions posed by reporters regarding a memo that the Water and Sewage Corporation's executive sent to those that were promoted. The memo indicating that promotions that were to take effect from September 1st have been put on hold pending further review.
Well, what seems to have happened, looking at the actions in the last weeks of the administration, was that there was an attempt, it appears, and I don't want to say it's so until you actually know the facts, to put what you call a poison pill. So the idea was that it would hobble any new administration.
Now, the memo also states that those promoted persons' job status will revert to its previous salary and position. The minister says, out of an abundance of caution, it cannot be said that it's all been rolled back.
An instruction was issued through the Secretary of the Cabinet to simply put everything on hold until we can get an opportunity to have a look at what's actually going on, and then make decisions going forward. I met in the Department of Public Service stacks of promotions, and I suspect that many of them are long overdue. And so I don't want to put a negative imprint on it, but I think just out of an abundance of caution it was decided to do that. And that applies to both the public corporations and the public service.
Asked how long the hold will be, Mr. Mitchell could not say. However, he did reveal that he does not want people's lives to be put on hold, adding that he's hoping that the Minister of State for Public Service, Pia Glover-Roll, will bring a paper to Cabinet on Tuesday on the matter. Mr. Mitchell reiterating that a distinction has been made between the routine public service jobs and political level jobs. You're watching JCN News. Stay with us.